we've had some guys out that are projected to be a starter or a rotational two, and that will get back here next week or at the end of the week. And so it's been really good to evaluate the 3 and 4s that are getting a lot of reps, and can they do it? Are they ready? Or, they're still maybe some time away from being that guy. But yeah, in the secondary, just thinking of guys that kind of stood out this last week in the scrimmage and throughout practice was Chris Keys. He's coaching at Mississippi State. He's played a lot of ball from Indiana to Mississippi State to here. He's played corner, nickel, dime, safety. And so for us, he's a guy that's going to cross-train and play multiple positions. Can cover, physicality and tackling, smart. So everything you want there. And Jaden Sweeney's another guy that's got here late this summer from Liberty that's has all the physical attributes that you want. So still learning the playbook. But it's flashing around in the run game and making some plays, and so just got to continue to get him up to speed. And same to Dylan Williams, and who's had a good first scrimmage, and then was kind of limited a little bit in the second scrimmage. Damon Allen's a kid at nickel that has showed up a bit. Light years ahead of it was in the spring. He came in, he's put on, his body's changed so much. He was a corner when he came in, and now he's over 200 pounds, long, a lot of length there at nickel, and so that's helped us. And then at linebacker with getting some of the young guys that have been in a little bit. Kamari Johnson's a guy that has played a lot, has got a lot of reps this last week. That's flashed some, and so he's putting it all together, so that's been good for him. And then up front, guy inside is one of the twins, Ty Cool. He's showed up, and I've noticed him on offense a little bit, and he's gained a lot of weight from the spring, and so that's what you want to see is development. And so a lot of those guys at all positions from the spring or where they were to start have come a long ways.
Can you tell those two apart if they're not wearing
No, there's no way. No way. One's a little bit bigger than the other one now, but they're always side by side. And I don't think the players know which one's which.
That's funny. We're going to talk to Tooley and Boylston today. Can you tell us just a little bit about them?
Yeah, starting with Tooley, love the kid. He's everything you want as a coach. He's smart. He's tough. He comes in every day, hardworking, always got a smile on his face, been through so much. And so all you want is success for that kid. And I think it's his time now. He's been the guy that's been a kind of rotational piece, started here a little bit, and so he's going to play a lot and kind of play a lot of different roles for us at nickel, could move safety, could move the corner, big on special teams. And so and he's got the length too. Anytime you have some length at nickel, you can make some plays that the guys can't. So he's done a heck of a job. And then Kyle's come a long way from the spring as well. When he was redshirt last year, wasn't practicing, and then dual sporting in the spring, and so his communication's been unbelievable out there with the checks, and continue working on some physicality, which he knows. But he's come a long ways, and these guys cross training as well, and so expecting big things from all those guys. And as you know, with injuries and everything else, that's why certain guys are cross training, and some of the new guys are taking one spot. But both those guys are fun to coach and are competitive.
Just a bit of trivia for you. Chris Tooley's cousin, also Chris Tooley.
Yeah, that's right.
Back here, yeah.
That's right.
Questions?
Coach, you mentioned injuries twice, and I'm not trying to be that guy. But, it seems like so far everything's been relatively minor.
Yes.
We haven't lost anybody yet. Nobody's down for the count for week 1. So a lot of this stuff where the guys are sitting is precautionary, or they're just a little nicked up, you would say?
Yeah, there's guys who are getting back, and it's honestly, it's been good. It's been good that the guys that are getting a lot of reps right now, whether they're with the 1s or with the 2s, that would have been with the 2s or 3s in the field as a 2 spot, we're seeing if they can handle it all now. It's a little bit faster on the red field, as we call it, more of the 1s and 2s, and so can they communicate? Can they function? Can they live tackle with everybody? And so I think you're not really getting those answers until someone is out for a little bit. And so we're in a good spot to get a lot of these, and I say a lot, get a few of these guys back at the end of the week and next week. And really today's the last kind of scripted practice. We're off tomorrow, and then kind of have a thud scrimmage situation with a lot of our projected 1s, 2s. And then the last scrimmage will just be some more 2-minute situations, and then get a lot of those guys out. And the 3s that are the bubble guys that we still have questions on or not sure on tape, we'll get the majority of those reps, and then it's Sunday's long game week, so it's here.
Yeah, okay.
And the offense and special teams, You know, we've talked to Coach Bibley, we've talked special teams. It's been about being aggressive. In your play calling, do you expect to be more aggressive on the defensive side, or just play it safe?
No, I think you have to. Just as you look at now, what you can't do is just bleed to death, and just sit there and just play, to try to defend everything and just catch. You got to be the aggressor. You just got to pick and choose, right? You can't just go and blitz every down, and where do you share the stress? You know what I mean? And obviously know the strength of your players and what you're trying to take away from the strength of their team and put the kids in the best positions to be successful. But you always, like anybody, right? You try to stay ahead of change. So if all of a sudden you get somebody in 2nd and 10 and usually 3rd and longers, you're in better shape compared to sitting there at 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2, and it's going to be a long day when that happens.
You mentioned guys cross-training somewhat. How important is it to have positional versatility?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and what we kind of do is send, when you look at your numbers, and we have 85 scholarships, we have 41 on defense. Out of the 41, how do you split it up? And my history's been a little bit more when you get banged up front, you got some problems. So we put a few more numbers inside to have those guys that they play more rotationally, and so we spent a little less at DB and kind of took more guys that can play multiple positions there. So if guys are banged up, it's not just the 3rd corner that goes in, it might be the backup nickel that goes and plays corner in that situation. And it's the same thing, up front, as far as you get to a pass rush situation, maybe it's a 2nd or 3rd team edge, and what's their role? Maybe they come inside on 3rd down and try to rush the passer, and you got to be able to keep guys fresh, especially if you're out there playing a lot of snaps or if you're playing tempo teams, and you want at least 22, if not 26, 27 guys you can put out there a game and trust and get guys done, because if you go out there and play 70 plays, you're not going to get the full maximum effort that you want.
You mentioned, Zion earlier and Damon as freshmen that have a chance to play. A guy that flashed for me in the spring, and I know he's been kind of up and down the depth chart, see what he can handle, is Josh Roberts. Mm-hmm. Now, he may need to get stronger, but what do you like about his instincts rushing the pass?
Yeah, talking to Coach Lacey and you're watching him, he's one of our top arms, and he puts the effort in, and how far he's come along as a freshman, and his body's changed, and he's still still young. And we all know from playing inside and up front, it's just a different game physically, and so he's coming along. And biggest thing with him, what allows him to be able to play early, is he's smart, he's tough, he's competitive. And so anytime you hear that in a player, you're going to trust to put him out there, and so he's pushing guys that maybe think they might have the job, and he's going to push them for playing time, because that's what we're going to do. If as a coach, if guys are smart, they're tough, they're competitive, they give you a chance to win, that's what you're going to put out there. And so he's going to play at an early age too.